Hello and welcome to this simple meditative yoga practice. This can be done standing, sitting in a chair, or sitting on the floor on a well-supporting cushion. So find your way into a seated position or your standing position. I'd suggest you do it seated if you can, as that'll make your balance generally better and probably a little safer to close your eyes if you're sitting. So as best you can, sit in a way that you're well connected to your chair or your cushion. If you're in a chair, put both feet solidly on the floor, about hip width apart. Get a good connection to the floor. And then be lengthening nice and tall up through the core of your body. Lengthening so that you're lifting the crown of the head a little higher, but you're not lifting the chin. The chin stays at the horizon. And then often we have our shoulders kind of cranked up as we're trying to be a little bit taller, so see if you can let your shoulders relax down and let them release any effort or grip or tension in the muscles. And if there's tension that doesn't release, just notice that, invite it to release. We can't force it, and we don't want to try to impose it. You can't impose a relaxation. That would be contradictory. And feel that posture. And let there be little micro movements and little adjustments as you need. There's no need to hold perfectly still. In fact, we want the posture to be resilient in that we allow little movements, and we want it to be kind of organic and alive, not sort of dead and stiff. So feel that again, lengthening through the spine, letting the shoulders release, good connection to the floor. If you're sitting on a cushion, sit in a way that your hips are a little bit higher than your knees. And if possible, your legs are kind of crossed in front of you, not overlapping, but one in front of the other, like so. And so that both the shin bones are well supported on the floor, and both knees are near or close to the floor. So a good connection to the floor and to the cushion, and sitting in a way that the upper body can rise up out of the pelvic bowl without a lot of straining, a lot of effort. Kind of like a potted plant that's just sitting right in its bowl, and it just rises right up without too much strain. So feel the posture, and then let your eyes close and bring the attention to the body. Notice the muscles in your face, and just slowly begin to investigate whether there's any tension in these little facial muscles. Often we're not even aware of it, but we're holding tension in the forehead and in the eyebrows, these little muscle groups. And it's okay to hold tension there, but it's often part of a pattern of kind of stress and activation in the body that's feeding into the nervous system and the mind, and tends to promote a kind of more of an anxious, stressing way of being. So as best you can, invite the face, the upper half of the face, to soften and relax, letting go of tension in the forehead, the eyebrows. Just inviting it to soften, not forcing it. And if it doesn't soften, let there be no frustration, accepting it as it is, just for now, as best you can. Again, just issuing an invitation to soften. And working down around the temples, the cheekbones, softening the eyes themselves, down towards the lower half of the mouth, around the jaw, the lips. And see if the lower jaw can hang down a little bit, just dropping down from the upper jaw, and just kind of hanging like a hammock between two trees. And the mouth may open a little bit, but direct your breath through your nose if possible. Notice the feeling of the breath moving. Notice the pathway that it's taking. In through the nostrils, back down the windpipe, and then entering into the lungs. Feel the lungs expanding on the inhale. Feel the lungs contracting on the exhale, and the breath returning back out the same pathway. Do your best now to focus your attention on this movement of breath in the pathway, and see if you can begin to patiently ease the breath into a steady rhythm so that the inhale is 4 or 5 seconds coming in, and the exhale is about 4 or 5 seconds going out. It's okay if it's a little shorter or a little longer. Let's see if you can ease the breath into a steady rhythm, the inhale and the exhale about the same duration. And let that help focus your mind and simplify your mind. This is all the mind needs to do right now, is guide and follow the rhythm of the breath. If it doesn't feel stressful, you can pause for a second or two. Once you've inhaled and the lungs are full, pause, and then initiate the exhale. Again, about 4 or 5 seconds to exhale if you can. Don't strain or try to force the breath. Don't struggle with it. Let it be a work in progress. You'll notice thoughts going through the mind, other distractions, no problem. When you notice it, acknowledge it, thinking, then turn your attention back to your breath. You may need to do that again and again. Our goal is not to be free of thoughts or stop them. It's more to focus as best we can on the body, on the breath. I often think of it as turning away from the thoughts, back to the body, back to the breath. But there's no struggle, there's no conflict. There's just a turning again and again to the breath, to the body. In a moment, we'll bring a little movement into the practice and follow along as is appropriate for your body. The next time you exhale, as you begin to exhale, slowly turn your head to the left. As the exhale finishes, pause. Allow the inhale to happen. The next exhale, see if the neck might turn a little further to the left, but not forcing the neck unnaturally. And take a couple more cycles of the breath on each exhale, exploring the twist. And keep your face and your shoulders as relaxed as possible. So it's just the neck twisting with each exhale. Then on a slow inhale, slowly turn the head back to center. And on the exhale, turn to the right, relaxing your face and shoulders. And take a couple of cycles turning to the right. On each exhale, turning. On the inhale, pausing for the inhale. Exhales, turning. No hurry, and not forcing or straining. And then let an inhale bring your head back to center, moving with the breath, coordinating the attention, breath, and movement. On the next exhale, slowly reach your left ear down towards your left shoulder. Keep your face relaxed, your shoulders uninvolved. You're just stretching. Pause for an inhale. On the exhale, see if the neck might stretch a little further, but again, not forcing it. And see how relaxed your face can be as you do this simple stretching of the neck. A couple more cycles on the exhales, just exploring the stretch, But remember, further is not better. We're just stretching. And let a slow inhale float the head to center. And on the exhale, right ear reaches for the right shoulder. Pausing for each inhale. On the exhale, reaching. Relaxing the face and the shoulder. On each exhale, reaching. Then let a slow inhale float the head back to center. Notice how you feel. Notice if your attention is a little more connected to your breath and to your body now. Keep guiding the rhythm of the breath. Keep returning to the body and the breath whenever thoughts pull you away, as they will probably pretty often. Now we'll begin a side-to-side swaying of the upper body, again moving with the breath. On the next exhale, as you begin to exhale, begin to lean your upper body over to your left. Just lean and let the head kind of float down towards the shoulder. Let the inhale slowly float you back up to center as you inhale. Finishing the inhale, begin to exhale, floating your body to the right, the upper body. And let the head kind of float down towards the shoulder. Inhaling up. Exhaling to the left. With the eyes closed, just feeling breath and movement. Inhaling up. Exhaling to the other side. Move at your own rhythm. Move as slowly as the breath will allow. Don't let the movement get ahead of the breath or the breath ahead of the movement. Focus on syncing up the breath, movement, and awareness as closely as you can. Don't try to do it correctly. Just make your own movements. Whenever you notice that the awareness has wandered, simply come back. On the exhales, leaning. Inhale, returning. Slowly begin to make the movements not quite as big, but the breath still moving at a slow, steady pace. So you're leaning, but not quite as far. Inhaling up, leaning, inhaling up, exhale, leaning, like a pendulum slowly losing momentum. The movements grow smaller and smaller, but the breath stays in this very slow meditative rhythm. Till eventually you're just moving a couple of inches to each side. Still very closely attuned to your breath. Eventually the movements fade away as you find yourself back in stillness at center. Bring your attention down to the bottom of your feet. Feel the sensations there. Notice that there's a lot to feel on the bottom of the feet, the bottom of your left foot, the bottom of the right foot. Notice your knees, the sensations. Notice the palms of your hands. The feeling of the fingernails on the left hand. The thumbnail on the left hand. Thumbnail on the right hand. Notice the feeling of the belly, the outside of the belly, the muscles and the skin. And then notice what's inside the belly. Perhaps food or liquids. Or sometimes we can sense or feel energy or emotion in the belly. Whatever's there, just notice it non-judgmentally, doing your best not to make anything good or bad, although the mind may quickly categorize things that way. We don't have to buy into that right, wrong, good, bad thinking. Feel your rib cage, the sides of the rib cage, the back. Feel it expanding and contracting. Notice the feeling of the hair on the head. Notice your whole body wrapped in skin. This outer layer like a wrapping paper. Feel that. Notice it. Notice the taste on the tongue. Sensations inside the mouth. Bring attention to your hearing, as if your awareness is just perched right at the doorway of the ear, and listen and simply receive the next sounds to arrive at your ears. Stay very attentive and now focusing on your breath again. Be aware of your breath coming and going. And then aiming attention at the breath, be aware when the next couple of thoughts arise in the mind. The breath centered in the chest. Notice how thoughts will arise seemingly in the brain. Notice the thoughts. Bring attention back to your breath. And then to finish up, see if you can get a sense or connect to this part of you, this function in your mind that has been doing all of this close noticing. We call this the observing mind, the higher mind. Sometimes it's thought of as the true self, beyond the thoughts and the opinions and the stories in the mind. This presence, awareness. It's the part of us that can observe our own thoughts without being totally caught up in them, without totally believing all of them. And this can be quite helpful so that we're not controlled by our thoughts in the same way. We notice them and we use them. The ones that are not helpful, we can see them for what they are, unhelpful thoughts, and recognize that we don't have to do their bidding. We don't have to follow them. Check in with yourself. Notice how you feel in general. Notice if the practice was overall helpful, unhelpful, if it seemed to center you, calm you, ground you. Perhaps you get more in touch with agitation. There's no right outcome. Just notice what you're aware of. Then with your attention on your eyelids, see if you can relatively slowly open the eyelids now. Notice how you feel. Notice how much there is to process visually as the eyes open. So that's a meditative yoga class intended to help focus the attention, settle the mind, connect us to breath, awareness, and the body. I'd encourage you to practice this on a regular basis, either in these longer sessions. This one was a little over 20 minutes. You can also do it in little breaks of 10 or 20 or 30 seconds or a minute, anywhere, anytime, wherever you are. All right. Thanks for being here. Good luck with your practice. Look forward to hearing about how it goes for you.